Hey, what's up, guys? I'm your host, Connor Crosscree, joined by my fellow partner, Jerome Salon, and we're coming at you with the Civil War. So, today, guys, we're gonna go over some things with you. Now, when you think of Civil War, what's the first thing you think of?
I just think of bloody battles. That's all I think in my opinion.
Well, we're not doing bloody battles right now. That's so we're gonna go over spies right now.
Okay.
So, I'm a fan of the North, in my opinion. So, I have my boy Alan Pinkerton. And he was a very important spy in the North. Now, this guy was so important that he found out that the South was planning an assassination on Abraham Lincoln, and he protected Abraham Lincoln from that assassination.
I gotta give you credit. I mean, like, the North did like a decent job, but I believe that the South did better because, first of all, they had many organizations, not just one, but they had many. One of them was the Confederate Signal Corps, and it was like they set up the first covert intelligence operation for the Confederates, and it's known as the Secret Service Bureau. I don't know how to say that. Oh no. SSB, and it was headed by William Norris, and he's a former lawyer. But like, all I need to say is they're more organized, and versus
who was more organized?
The Confederates. They were more organized than the Union because they had more organizations versus the Union who only had like they were paid privately.
Yes, that's true. But here's the thing. The North had spies separately, so they had their own independent jobs. Like, they could get stuff done on their own, you know? So, like, it's hard when someone takes orders from another person, right? You feel me? So, like, when Miss Fred's giving you some like, directions, you're like, I don't really want to do this, you know? And, like, you can operate on your own. It's like, me, I just want to get stuff done, you know? And, like, so, you see what I'm saying? The North had, like, they just got it done.
Yeah, but also the Confederates, they had even though they weren't really, they were effective, but like compared to the Union, I believe the Union, to be honest, was a little more effective. But the Confederate spies, in my opinion, had the most interesting impacts throughout the war. One of the most well known was previously what happened was Belle Boyd risked her life to bring intelligence to Major General Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson, who you guys should have heard for during this whole chapter. Anyways, it was during the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1862, and it was resulting in the capture of Fort Royal. That's it.
All right, so I'm just gonna go right here because I'm done arguing with you. So.
Argued with
Yes. So, I really think spies were an essential force in the Civil War.
Yes,
Agree?
they were. Yes, I agree. I agree 100%. Yes.
Let's just say North one ended. Thank you.
So there were many battles during the Civil War, but we're going to talk about two, which we believe were most the significant ones. One of them was
significant to us.
Oh yes, to us, because our opinions matter. So the Battle of Chickamauga. This was during September 19 to September 20 in 1863, and it was the largest battle fought in Georgia during the Civil War. It was actually the second bloodiest battle during the Civil War. The next one is the one Connor's going to be talking about later. Hint, hint. Total, there are 34,624 casualties, 16,117 Union, and 18,454 Confederate who were part of the casualties. Before the battle, Union completed Tullahoma campaign, and it was like successful. They were continuing to push the South's forces out of Tennessee and into Georgia, which would give them more land and higher ground. The battle lasted all day. It spread southward for 4 miles. During the battle, the South retreated, and then eventually the North did as well. And yeah, it was a overall costly battle for both sides. The battle considered the win for South because Bragg forced the Union forces out of Georgia, and Bragg is the general who led the Confederates during this war. And yeah.
All right, so I just want to point out something. You all might be noticing a background change. We wanted to get you we wanted you to pay attention to us. So for the battles, we thought, blue and white, it's kind of battle-y, right? You know it is. All right, so anyways, I'm doing the Battle of Gettysburg, as Jerome said earlier. It has very much some of the most casualties, estimated around 51,000 deaths.
Bloody.
That is not okay. Anyways, the Battle of Gettysburg happened in 1863, and it started when Lee used Shenandoah Valley for some cover for his army, but then he marched into Northern Territory to get supplies and everything for his army, but then he got spotted by General George G. Meade, and July 1st is when the two armies collided. So July 1st is when the two armies collided. Now, like Jerome stated earlier, and I stated multiple times, this was a very bloody death. It started out on the first day with 30,000 Union troops and 20,000 Confederate troops, and then they Confederate whooped them very hard. So they had to retreat. The Union had to retreat to Bunker Hill, not Bunker Hill, Cemetery Hill and Culp's Hill, and they defended themselves pretty well there. I mean, they were on a hill. They had the upper trajectory, it was kind of hard to get to them. So they were just defending themselves there. It was very hard to get to reinforce troops, but they did somehow. So, I don't know. And eventually, the Union troops defended themselves well enough to have the Confederate troops retreat, and then they won. So Union won that.
So I have one question for you. Actually, this is an interesting question because it's all opinion based. Which battle do you think was more important? My battle or your battle?
I'm gonna give my battle because it's the most deaths.
Oh well, just because that's most of the deaths doesn't mean it's the most important. I'm just saying that. Oh, anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Coming up is a little clip of Connor singing. Hope you guys enjoy that.
Enjoy that. See you guys.
See ya.
There's right and wrong in parties, and the right is on our side. So mount the Fillmore wagon, and through the nation ride. The Union is our wagon, the people are its springs, and every true American for Millard Fillmore sings. Wait for the wagon, the Millard Fillmore wagon. Wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Our wagon is a noble one. 'Twas made in '76. 'Twas driven by George Washington through stormy politics. Palmetto, cypress, and cottonwood, and spokes and wheels you'll find. Western oak and eastern pine, and northern ash combined. Wait for the wagon, the Millard Fillmore wagon. Wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. And this a glorious wagon, with double lesson beside. Through all the troubled elements, brave Fillmore soon will ride. And where the foreigner would their rule, and freedom they would take, they will not play us for a fool, for we are wide awake. Yes, wait for the wagon, the Millard Fillmore wagon. I beg you, please wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're coming back at you live, or pre-recorded live from Zach's house. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna give my little producers behind the cameras a little shout out. My boy Zach Bull. All right, he's an amazing kid. And then my boy Brian Lanier, he's pretty good right now. Oh my God, he is a beauty. All right, so. We just got done discussing the spies, right?
Yes, correct.
All right, so
I won that battle.
more
discussion.
More. I'm gonna say more important than the spies. Can you agree on this? More important than the spies was the generals and like the leaders.
Yes, I actually agree with that.
All right,
because
so-
they were more on action.
Yes,
instead of
yes, all right.
undercover.
So one of the Union's or North's he's a very interesting character, Samuel Ryan Curtis. Now, he graduated from the United States Military Academy in 1831, and then he became a Union brigadier general in the first, he got his first job in the Civil War as a Union brigadier general, and he did good. He won. He fended off the Confederate in the Battle of in the Battle of Pea Ridge in Arkansas, and then he was promoted to Major General, and then he captured Helena the city of Helena in Arkansas, and then after that he gained a spot as Department of Missouri, where he gained command of the Department of Missouri, and this is why he's a character. So he had some attitude towards Mr. Abe Lincoln. He got resigned.
It's a resign.
Resigned, right? Is that
Resign.
Never mind. That's like having they got lower in spot.
Yeah, yes.
All right, he got resigned to.
Well, wait. Resigned is like when you resign yourself and quitting.
He got kicked
Step
out.
down.
He had some attitude towards Mr. Lincoln, the president. Let me mind you. He kind of. I was gonna say he made a very snarky remark to the president of Missouri. Governor of Missouri. So Abe Lincoln kind of kicked him out of spot, but then he gained his spot back in the Civil War, and he kicked some rear. All right.
Another major general in the Civil War was from the Confederate side, Robert E. Lee. He was a military advisor to President Jefferson Davis, who was the president for the Confederates, mind you. Up until 1862, then he was given the command. Given the command of the wounded General Joseph E. Johnston's embattled army on the Virginia Peninsula, and it led the Virginia Peninsula to become the most successful Confederate army. Then this is where Robert E. Lee started taking over, saying, "I wanted to win." And with the intent of shifting the war's focus away from Virginia, he invaded Maryland and led to the Battle of Antietam, and ending in a draw. But he also, another key and important part about Robert E. Lee was he was a huge, he played a key role in the Battle of Gettysburg.
Alright, we'd like to introduce a very amazing factor in our production of the Civil War.
We'd like to introduce you and sponsor our unofficial
sponsor, 7-Up. It is an amazing drink. I recommend it to all of you guys. Alright, thank you guys. That was an amazing discussion. There's the second one. So,
another key general in the South was Ulysses S. Grant, and his 1862 triumphs at Fort Henry and Fort Donelson in western Tennessee won him the nickname Unconditional Surrender. He also had a hard-won victory at Vicksburg, Mississippi in the May of 1863, and was a strategic masterpiece. His army also crossed the Mississippi River at the Battle of Port Gibson. So, what I need to sum up, he was a huge leader in the South and for the Confederates, and he led many battles and was involved in many battles. They might have not been huge battles with many casualties, but they were really effective for the Confederates in order for their efforts to stay alive.
Yes, and as much as I think that Union is an amazing force. Civil War, they also lost some battles. Robert Anderson, he put up a fight. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He was in charge. He was the officer in charge of Fort Sumter for the Union. Now, he had little to no men, and I don't know about you, but a very big, a bigger army than what you have to fight for is very hard to defend against. So the Confederate had they outnumbered them quite a bit, and Robert Anderson, he put up a fight. I mean, it lasted a day and a half, and then he was a very amazing leader. Not as much as I hate saying this, but the Confederate took it over.
The South is clearly better.
Very hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the first battle too. Who knew, right? The first shots fired. Fort Sumter was.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was a pretty amazing guy.
Yeah, but I believe in, like, overall, throughout the whole talk we had, I thought that the South, even though they, I believe the only reason they lost is because they have little men compared to the Union.
Like you, little men.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
But if they had, I believe if they had more, more people participating in the war, or just like had a higher army count compared
But
to the.
I do agree with that. But here's the thing, like.
Okay, they get it. I'm kidding.
But here's the thing, if they were stupid.
Which they were.
Yeah, the southern states were very. I'm gonna say this kind of harsh. Stupid. Yes. I mean, who could? Do you really think you can become your own country when you're this small? What the heck, man?
Do you really think you can ride the little kid rides when you're this big?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Yeah, he can't find a way to win. Anyways, guys, I love you all, and we'll come back at you soon. Me and my boy, we've talked to you a lot about some Civil War, and I hope you like our Jeopardy game. It is amazing. We put a lot of time and effort in that. Our producers, they work their hooches off, and I mean, yeah, you know, we did pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watch our commentation.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, I hope you liked the video. Smash that like button. I mean, even if you don't like it, you might as well just smash it because it's pretty smash worthy. Anyways.
Yeah, this has been JNC rolling out. See you guys.
The talk show! What's going on, guys? I'm your host, Connor Cross Street, and today we're talking about the Civil War. I'm joined by my host, Jerome Salon, and we're getting down to business right now. So, Jerome, how's your day going so far? I really think so. Spies were an essential force in the Civil War.
Yes,
Agree?
they were. Yes, I agree. I
All
agree
right,
100%.
thank you.
Yes.
Let's just say North London. Thank you.
Hold on. Yeah, okay, you can.
And it started when Robert E. Lee. You can cut this out. So, Samurai Curtis, he was obviously he graduated from military academy, the United States Military Academy. He became a Union. Good talk, guys. I don't know anything, guys. There's right and wrong in parties, and they right. Hold on, I gotta respond. There's right and wrong in parties, and the right is on our side. So mount the Fillmore wagon, and through the nation ride. The Union is our wagon, the people are its springs. And every true American for Millward Fillmore sings. Wait for the wagon, the Millard Fillmore wagon. Wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Our wagon is a noble one. 'Twas made in '76. 'Twas driven by George Washington through stormy politics. Palmetto, cypress, cottonwood, and spokes and wheel you'll find. Western oak and pine, and northern ash combined. Wait for the wagon, the Northern Fillmore wagon. Wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. And this our glorious wagon, with Donaldson beside. Through all the troubled elements, brave Fillmore soon will ride. And where the foreigner will rule, the freedom would take. And they will not play us for fool, for we are wide awake. Yes, wait for the wagon, the Millard Fillmore wagon. Wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride.